Hi friends, it's Adam, the crippled cannabis cowboy. Welcome to another video of my Crips and Buds. This video is about my watering practices and what I've learned about it. Thanks for checking out my video. This one's pretty simple about watering practices. That's actually one of the best information data things you can grab. The best I can do is just tell you what I do. As far as watering and the frequency, provided any stage except for seedlings. Seedlings in the seedling bin are excluded. Those are on a schedule from the time it gets out of the seedling bin until harvest time. I really don't follow a schedule. I go by the way the leaves look. After you get some experience, you kind of learn when to recognize when to water a plant. It's kind of like it talks to you in some weird way. So I'll really only water my plants when they need watered. I keep it simple. Now that I have experience under my belt, I can tell when it needs water, so I don't let it go too far. Which brings up the drought stress. That's like a totally different topic. But anyway, what I do is I give them water when they need them, all the way until harvest time. Now sometimes I'll give it like a flush, I'll add some water or whatever, but what I do to the water is I treat all my water with something called drops of balance. It's something I really like. People drink this stuff too. I've drank this stuff. The plants freaking love it. It has something to do with like minerals and a water cleaner or whatever. To keep it simple, I got 1 gallon of water and I put 1 milliliter of drops and balance in it. Let it sit for like 10-15 minutes and I use that water. Now I do different things to the water at different stages of growth, but everything gets drops of balance. Watering is a lot of playing around. So there's teas. I use teas. I have used teas. They fit into a certain regimen, I guess, like stump tea. My veg plants particularly like stump tea. I really don't know anything about it. I know it's competitive with other forms of stuff, so you have to be careful. So in my veg stage, I'll give them stump tea until they go into the flower stage. And then I'll switch to something called EM1. I think that means effective microbes. Whatever, I don't know. I drink this stuff too, believe it or not. I have a shot every morning of EM1. I fermented some EM1 to make more of it for my plants. My plants get that kind. I drink out of the bottle, a capful. That's it. But it doesn't mix with a lot of stuff that's out there as far as teas. So I'm learning, so I don't know, but you got to figure out what's competitive microbes and bacteria and what's not. Competitive meaning, they're probably going to fight. They're going to scrap it out they want to be uptaken by the plant. And if you think about that, anything that's distracted isn't going to give you its full potential. Another area I'm experimenting with is, it's crop steering, but with watering practices. I have a few tents, so I get to play around a few different ways. Some of the plants, I'll give them like a couple ounces of water every day or that kind of stuff. So very, very minimal, small amounts to the bigger plants, obviously. Then there's, I have this practice where I keep all my soil kind of moist, the topsoil. I open all my tents every morning and I spray down the topsoil, just real gentle mist of water that's been treated with drops of balance. Then there's something I ran into by accident, and that was called a drought stress. And that's like when the plant doesn't have enough water, and I don't really exactly know what happened. You know, I'm not a scientist, I'm still learning, but they got freaking huge, and they were in sort of like the beginning of flower, and they didn't get watered for like 4 days. I watered them the next day, but I just, like, you know how I went on vacation, I came home expecting to see them slouch over like needing water, and I was actually surprised. They were a lot bigger. So that's not the first time that's happened to me. That's the time that I recognize there's something unique about it. Now, that has happened before. I have a friend of mine that picks me up sometimes, and I go enjoy my weekend. And believe it or not, I don't stress too much about my plants because, you know, I have MS and I have to pay attention. But when I came home, you know, the veg tents are different. You have to pay attention to those because they were slouching. But in a couple cases, when I came back, my flowers, or that were in the flower tent, they were booming. They looked totally healthy, and yeah, they were thirsty, but they grew. That's something I came across in my practices, and I try to include it as much as possible. Well, pretty much every grow, they go through some kind of drought stress, more in the beginning. Sometimes I do it towards the end because I want it a little more dry so it dries faster. But there's another practice, you know, you can water it the whole time and not even care. And when it's time to harvest, you clip it, you watered it all the way up until the final day. Now, because of what I use and what I do, I don't flush. You know, I'm an all organic guy, and I don't flush my plants at all. I think I did once, and there was no difference. I noticed that. And the other thing I don't do is I don't do that dark phase. It just, that's something that just didn't make sense to me because whatever. There's all kinds of controversies about it, but I grow some delicious bud, and I've never done those two things. So as far as watering, typically I'll water it until its final day, or I stop watering about a week before so it dries out a little bit. As you get into the practice, you're going to find out what works for you and what doesn't. All these things I said, if you made any sense of all that rambling, it's just me and what I do and the things I've learned. So I kind of want to share this knowledge of growing this plant because it is like my medicine now, and I can't be without it. It's kind of freaky how much it helps with mostly the Zen thing, like just having a plant, growing a plant. It's just wonderful. But welcome aboard, subscribe to my channel, check out some more videos. I'm trying to condense my words a little better and speak a little brighter for you, but I am severely disabled and doing the best I can with speech. Wow, did you see that? That was one of those freakish spasms. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time.